Are you shitting us?
No, we're not shitting you. Let's go check it out.
Welcome to Shining.
Today on Realtor Cut It, we will be reviewing the hybrid genre series on Starz, Shining Vale. So guys, I know you noticed I'm always comparing shows to others. I think most writers and directors will draw inspiration from other films, and Shining Vale is no different, okay? You know, this series gave me a lot of American Horror Story season 1. I also got a little bit of Stepford Housewives, but I got a whole lot of The Shining. You know, Stephen King's 1977 novel and Stanley Kubrick's version in 1980, the film, The Shining. Take a look.
Has it ever occurred to you what it feels like to always be forgiven?
I'm guessing by the crazed look in your eyes, not great.
No.
Has it ever occurred to you that I have agreed to look after the Overlook Hotel until May the 1st? Does it matter to you at all?
You see what I mean? It's a lot of similarities there. Now, the series stars Courtney Cox as Pat Phelps, an author of erotic fiction novels. She hasn't written in 7 years, and her husband, played by Greg Kinnear, Terry Phelps, and they're deciding to move to Shining Vale, Connecticut. The couple decides to cash in their life savings to buy a Victorian mansion as a way to escape Brooklyn due to the affair that Pat had with their handyman, Frank. The teenagers are not happy about this move. You have Gaynor, the daughter, who is boy crazy, and then you have Jake, the son, who is addicted to virtual reality video games. They're arriving to this beautiful big home. It's old, it's spacious, it has a huge attic, and Pat decides to use this attic as a place of seclusion for writing. By the end of the first night, Pat starts hearing doors slamming, you know, the piano starts to play on its own, and she sees an image of a 1950s woman in the window, who we later find out to be Rosemary, the previous owner of the home. So guys, this review will not be long because I just recently found out that the show was greenlit for season 2, and the purpose of Realtor Cut It is to determine if a show should be reeled for a second season, and it already has been. However, I'm still gonna go through with the review and break everything down. So here are a few things that I wanted to go over. Now, the opening scene breaks down the statistic of more women than men would suffer from depression, and then it also broke down that more women than men would suffer from a demon possession. And I was like, well, is this true? So I had to go research it, and I don't know about the demon possession part because I didn't find that, but the depression part was true, and that was interesting to me. You know, I didn't know that. So when I read that, I instantly thought about the show Evil. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show Evil, but the premise of the show is that you have a priest and I think psychologist who get these subject matters every episode, and they're trying to pretty much determine if the person is demon possessed or there's a medical explanation for it. And so when I saw the title card for Shining Vale, I instantly was like, okay, this is going in the direction of Evil, so it intrigued me. But once I started watching it, it was giving me the woman across the street from the girl in the window vibes, because it was funny.
You look nice.
And where's the insult?
No insult. That dress hides your flass.
And that's mean slang for?
Flat ass, obviously.
Oh, obviously. You look nice too. Is that for your virgin boyfriend, or is today the big Diane Sawyer costume contest?
I don't get that old person reference, but yes, this is for Ryan.
Surprisingly respectful.
Yeah, I'm trying to break him, but his Lord and Savior continues to cock block me.
Oh, that's my baby girl.
And then you had this woman who was constantly taking these pills and drinking and blacking out and not remembering what's happening. You don't know if she's getting possessed, or you don't know if she's just getting high. So it's like, okay. And then she turned into Betty Crocker because she was making these casseroles. And what's up with all of these casserole making women on these shows? I've seen more casserole making housewives than a little bit. I'm not used to that. My mama used to make smothered pork chops, smothered steak with rice and gravy, green beans. I ain't never had no casserole growing up, but I guess that's what housewives do, make casseroles. I don't know. I had cornbread. Now, you know, earlier I mentioned that the series reminds me a lot of The Shining. And it does. And let me break down a few similarities without giving too many spoilers. So, now, the character Jack in The Shining was a writer. Pat, too, is a writer. Okay? And they both were suffering from writer's block. Then you have the scene where the son Danny is sitting down on like this checkered looking carpet, and like this toy ball rolls to him real slow, and it lures him into room like 237, something like that, or 217. I can't remember, but I know the movie pretty well because I used to watch it every year during Halloween. But you know, the ball rolls to him really slow. And in Shining Val, the same thing happens to Pat. The only difference is it doesn't lure her into a room, but it lures her into looking at a picture. In The Shining, Jack discovers a full stocked bar in the hotel, and there's a bartender who's a ghost. In Shining Val, Pat discovers a bar in one of their rooms in the home. And guess who's behind the bar? The ghost Rosemary thing. Now there's more, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. You got to watch the series for yourself. Now the series has a total of 8 episodes, all running between 29 to 30 minutes. I'm trying to find my words carefully because I don't want it to come across as if I didn't like the series, because I loved it. I thought the series was great. It was funny and everything. But the only thing is, I don't think it's like waiting a week worthy to watch. I think it's more like a binge worthy. And I say that only because when the episode would end, there was nothing that was pressing me to have a gossip session with a girlfriend. And that's how I determine if a show is good or not. So like, if a show is so good that you want to have a gossip session with your girlfriend, you know how your grandmothers, well, I don't know, my grandmother, she used to love The Young and the Restless. And when I would go to visit her in the summertime, you know, she would be watching The Young and the Restless. And she really thought Victor Newman was real. I thought, at least I thought, you know, and she would be talking to people like, girl, did you see what Victor did? So if a show is not having you have a gossip session with your peoples, then it's not waited a week worthy. So I never got that feeling. I was like, I found myself waiting a week or two to collect enough episodes to watch it all together. As far as the show is concerned, I did have a question about, although Terry wanted to stay with the wife, I never understood why. Like, he came across as a very beta type man, but I did not clearly understand why he was still with this woman after she cheated on him, because most men egos cannot handle that. And I kind of was rooting for him to cheat back on her, and she was mean to him, especially when she hooked up with Rosemary. It was like, dang, and you still want her, huh? You gonna just go ahead and tell, okay, do whatever you want. So would I reel it? Of course I would reel it, you know. But I just had to be honest. I love the show. However, if there was no season 2, it wouldn't like really disappoint me, but I definitely would be watching season 2. So That's all for today's show. If you decide to go watch Shining Vale, check it out on Starz every Sunday. And until next time.